And we are recording. So welcome to our Career Connectors monthly event. We are so glad you are here. We have Kyle from Cleveland, Ohio. Kyle, welcome. That's a long way to be. We love that you're here. We have someone from Tucson, people from Phoenix, and from Chandler. Minnesota's in the house. Glad you're here, Christy. We are excited for our event today. If you haven't already, I am going to invite you to drop into the chat what your name is, where you're joining us from, and what industry you're interested in. One of our best features as we do these live events is that we want to really engage with you in the chat, not only with us, but also with each other. A little bit later on, we're going to ask you to drop in your LinkedIn URL. And I'll have Jessica or someone from our team will show you in the chat how to do that. But we're really excited for our speakers this morning. And so as we are getting started, let me just hit, I got that. We're telling us in the chat, Bree, if you'll go to the next slide, Career Connectors, we started in 2009, and our mission is to elevate communities by empowering job seekers, employers, and community service providers. We love to bring hope. We love to come alongside, and we love to be that platform that you can trust, where you know you're going to connect with people, connect with great employers, and get some incredible information as you are walking the job search. So thank you again for being here. So going into our next slide, if you have questions as we go along, please do drop those into the chat. As I mentioned, we really want that chat to engage quite a bit. In your display, the best display that you are going to have to watch this presentation is in speaker view. So if you go up to the right-hand corner of your screen, you'll see a box that says view. You'll see gallery view, and that's where you can see everybody else on the call. If people have their cameras on, and if you want to turn your cameras on, that's really helpful because the speakers love to see your faces. We love to see your faces. It's great to see expression, but we also understand that people are sometimes multitasking. But if you want to put your camera on, we'd love to see you. So good morning to your faces. And lastly, if you want to add your industry or job title, you can do that in the little box where you see your face. There's 3 little dots in the right-hand corner of your particular box. And when you click on that, that allows you to change your display name. And here's an exciting piece that we have with these monthly events is that I want you to stay for the breakout rooms. After Justin speaks and after Amanda speaks, we're going to go into breakout rooms, and you're going to actually get to speak to a resume coach, a LinkedIn coach, and we have a financial advisor on the line also. So all that stuff is just for you. You can go into one room and then go into the other. They'll give you some feedback. You can share your resume. And it's also a great time to hear what the feedback that other people are getting, because I always learn when I'm hearing from someone else. So next slide, Bree. We do have closed captioning. And if you look at the bottom of your screen, 2 things, or you're going to see several things. There's the chat button down there if you haven't found the chat button. And then there's also something that says show captions. And if you'll click on that, that will give you closed captioning. And just so you know, we do record these events. And we will be recording this one, as you may or may not have heard when it first started. We are recording it, and these will be available on our website, usually about 4 days after the event, we post them. So yeah, so feel free, if you didn't get to watch all of it, or you can't stay for all of it, please do go back and watch that, or share it with a friend, because it's always fun to share this stuff. Okay, so what are we doing this morning? We are going to listen to our keynote, Justin Jones. He's going to talk on winning strategies for your job search. And then we're going to hear from Amanda Miller, the 6 components of a successful job search. So their talks are going to connect well with each other. Then I'm going to give you a brief overview of some resources and just some things that will be helpful for you as you continue your job search. And then again, as we said, we're going to go into breakouts. So without much further ado, I am going to introduce Mr. Justin Jones. he likes nothing more than to hear his clients say, "I got the job." He's affectionately known as Job Coach Justin. He is naturally skilled at helping people recognize and communicate their inherent value. During his 20 plus years of coaching, he shares insights about interviewing and finding meaningful work with thousands of people. Justin is a dynamic career coach, public speaker, and facilitator. He's currently responsible for overseeing a team at Brigham Young University. And here's the best part about Justin. Justin and Jessica, our CEO and owner, who all of you know and love, she has been working with him for over 10 years. She likes to call Justin her brother from another mother. He is energetic. He cares deeply about his people and their success, and he has a heart of gold. Please help me welcome Mr. Justin Jones. Yay.
Wow. Thank you. That was a lot. And speaking of a lot, it snowed almost 2 feet at my house yesterday. I'm coming to you from Salt Lake City, Utah.
Wow.
It's April, and what it made me think of as we get started today, if you don't mind putting in the chat, I really want you to think about what is your favorite tool. And I don't care what kind of tool it is. Obviously, yesterday with mine, it was a snow shovel. But maybe you have a kitchen knife that you love. Maybe you have a cell phone that you love. But I really want you to think for a second, what is a tool that I actually just love using, and just start throwing those. Oh, look at that. Teal is already in the chat. Garden shovel. I know some of the people from Minnesota are still perhaps snowed in. Those of you coming to us from Portland, maybe not so much, maybe rain. Those of you coming from Tucson, maybe it's something that you help with your cacti or raking your front rocks. I don't know what it is. Microwave, flathead screwdriver. Some of these are very wine decanter. Oh, Mary Rogers with your hands. No, that's not bad. Instapot. I was waiting for that. I was also looking for maybe somebody to have like an air fryer, because suddenly all your fries that are a day old are suddenly revived again and worth eating. So, oh, you found that. I need to know what that best tile cleaning brush. Maybe you could put a link to that in the chat, because I have some tile in my basement where my kids live that really needs some help. Okay, now that you're thinking about these tools that you love, Trisha, ChatGPT, currently one of my favorite tools. We'll be talking about that today. So with that tool, I also want you to think about, and you don't have to put this in the chat, but why do you love this tool? What is it about the tool that you love? Is it the way that it feels? Is it that it makes your life easier? Is it that you can actually get things done quicker? Maybe it inspires you to do new things. But as we start off today, the whole impetus for this is I wanted to be able to bring to you today some tools that will really free up your life. And when I talk about your life, those of you who are here today, your life is really looking for that next job, finding your next role, maybe creating your own role or something new for yourself. And so I love that about all of you. Eyeglasses, where would we be without them? So thinking about those tools and how they influence and impact your life and make things either easier or better, that's where I got the idea of Tic-Tac-Toe. There is a strategy to job search, and for all the coaches that you visit with today, they have their strategies and their tips that they want to share with you. And that's what I want to do with you today, is in the short time. You might think it's long, but to me, I have so many things I want to share. I can't possibly do it in just the time that we're going, but I'll do my best. With that, all of these amazing tools that you may or may not have heard of, and some of them that you may have heard of, but perhaps you're not using them in the correct way. I'm going to go back to the snow shovel example. So when I had almost 2 feet of snow on my driveway yesterday, a snow shovel was super helpful until across the street, my next door neighbor or neighbor across the street came out with a brand new shiny yellow snowblower. suddenly that amazing tool that I had that, I thought was awesome was secondary, as they easily just went down the driveway and shoveled, or all the snow was being thrown into the yard or into the street. I definitely had some envy in my heart. Luckily for me, after their job was done in just a few minutes, they're like, "Hey, Justin, you want to borrow our snowblower?" And I said, "Absolutely yes." Did I know how to run the snowblower? Absolutely no. Did it take me a few times to figure it out and I was super embarrassed in front of my neighbors? Yes, but they were kind and they helped me through. And once I figured it out, it was dreamy. And that's what I want to do for you today. You have been using, some of you have been using Chat GPT, some of you have been using LinkedIn, some of you have been using Hunter.io or Cultivated Culture, and some of you have never even heard of them. And that is totally okay. What we're going to do is we're going to run through a number of these useful resources, and I'm going to start telling you ways that you can turn those shovels into snowblowers and really get things running for yourself. Now, all of that said, a tool is just a tool, and without the person behind it to actually utilize it, it's probably pretty useless. So I don't want you to be afraid of these tools just because you're not really sure how to use them, or that you thought you knew how to use them, but now you're using them in new ways. I just want you to enjoy the ride, have some fun with it, and allow yourself to just explore. We're going to play here today. And I hope that one of these tools, if just one, that I share with you will allow you to play in new ways the rest of the day, the rest of the week. It's going to excite you, and you're going to be able to share that with others in your network who are searching for jobs. If you're okay with that, can I get a thumbs up, a hallelujah, any of those things? I mean, I've been looking at the chat. You guys have been going through some of these amazing things. There we go. And okay, a thumbs up. Okay, then I'm going to keep moving. Now, I'm going to save my favorite for last, but what I do want to do is I want to share my screen, and let's just start out with the one that you're all familiar with, and that is LinkedIn. So I'm going to share my screen, and I just need a Joey to give me like a nod that my screen with my LinkedIn profile is showing. Okay, because that's what I'm seeing.
You're good.
So this is my LinkedIn profile. One thing I want you to be aware of is that picture was taken by a professional, but I found a hack to be able to make it a little bit cooler and a little bit more fun. So that yellow background was not the backdrop that my photographer used. I used a website called Passport-Photo Online, and I will take you to that. It's super easy to find. But you just go to Google and just type in LinkedIn Passport. And LinkedIn Passport Photo, and here it is, Passport Photo Online. What's super cool about this is you upload your own photo, and when you do that, you can just go, I'm going to say Justin Jones headshot, and here's a bunch of them. So I'm going to go, this was my original photo right here. I'm sitting here, I'm downloading it, it's going to bring it up. And then I get to choose the background, and it literally takes seconds. So here's the picture. I can choose yellow. I can choose this funky tic-tac-toe kind of thing. And best of all, if you go to the right, you can upload any background that you want. So it's super easy. Have fun with it. That's all I'm going to say about that one. Going back to LinkedIn, you can then use that for anything that you want. But I see the smile on Joey's face. The sun hasn't even come up in Hawaii yet, but it just did on LinkedIn. Thank you for that, Joey. All right. So with that, have a lot of fun with it. It's super easy to use. Just play with it. But you have to admit, it kind of looks pretty professional. And it kind of looks like I paid money for that, and I didn't. And I'm not going to ask you to pay money for any of these resources today. You're out of work, for goodness sake. Who wants to spend money? You want to spend money on, let's see, today is the 6th. We'll talk about rent later. So Do that with your image. Also, same with the background where I've got time for a career change. I made that on Canva. You can go and use Canva. You can create your own backdrop, or you can go to sites that help with your brand. And when you talk to your LinkedIn coach today, I hope that they talk to you about your overall brand and what it is you're trying to do. But I just want to tell you about a couple more sites. Pixabay.com is a great site for, oh, I typed it in wrong. Hope nothing crazy comes up. So Pixabay, Unsplash, these are all sites with free stock images. So let's say you want to be an animator for Pixar. I'm just going to type in animation. And suddenly it's bringing up all of these images. If your background image is animation and you're an animator, you are selling me on your brand. Maybe you want to use your own animation. I'm just giving you this for kicks and giggles, but you could even just pull up anything that you're looking for, have it there, royalty free. You just download it and now you're working on your brand. I think an animator should probably use their own animation, but just for representative purposes today, I want you to see that. Now, so again, Unsplash, Pixabay, there are a bunch of them out there. They're all royalty free. Feel free to use those. Here's the other thing, and this is the biggest hack, and if you've never heard it before, hallelujah that you're here today. When you save that image, so whether it's the yellow headshot image, whether it's the time for a change image, I want you to think about your industry. I want you to head out to whatever job search website that you love, and I want you to pull up the job that you want. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to pull up. Here's one for DreamWorks feature animator. Okay, and notice I have highlighted all of the text. I'm going to copy that text and I'm going to go to this image and I am going to save that file name as all of that text because that is my dream job. I'm also going to save the yellow headshot picture with all of that text or some from somewhere else. Another animator position at Sony Studios or something like that. And you know what that is going to do for you? It is going to boost your search engine optimization through the roof. It is the simplest, easiest hack. Nobody ever sees it. It's just the background file name on your images, and you will come up anytime any of those keywords are typed into a LinkedIn search. Are you freaking out right now? Because I'm freaking out for you. It's absolutely genius, and it hurts no one. Now, if that's all you do with your LinkedIn profile and there's nothing else about animation, well, then you've shot yourself in the foot and that's sad for you. Then you need to make sure that you have information on your LinkedIn profile that actually matches some of those keywords and phrases from the job description. Super simple. Also, right up here on LinkedIn, if you haven't done this yet, I'm so glad you're here today because join the next century. You can edit your LinkedIn profile URL. Notice up here, I have changed mine to what? That's right, Job Coach Justin. So anytime you want to find me on LinkedIn, all you have to type is Job Coach Justin, and guess who comes up #1 on search engine optimization? This guy. So we're all friends. I'm happy to meet you. I'm glad that you're spread throughout the country. I'm a LinkedIn open networker, AKA a lion. I am happy to link with you, but not if you don't tell me how you know me. So you need to type a note in there and say, Justin, you saved my world. You blew my mind. That was the greatest hack. I'm using it forever. Thank you so much for your presentation today. Then I'll link with you. Then I'll absolutely link with you. And once we're linked, you can look at all of my 4,000 plus contacts in LinkedIn, and I am happy to link you with any of them. So, parting gift for you. Again, personalize your URL. Mine says Job Coach Justin. Yours might say animator. Yours might say corporate culture. Yours might say diversity, equity, and inclusion leader. You get to put whatever you want there, but what do you want when people type keywords into a search for LinkedIn? What do you want them to find? So think about your brand. This hack will get you all sorts of search engine optimization. Other things that you'll want to do in your about section, make sure that you get keywords. The newest one on LinkedIn, oh, notice that. It's a pleasure to be asked to present at Career Connectors. These hashtags are super useful. Notice tune in. The other one that I use that you want to start using with yours, create your own hashtag. My hashtag is hashtag Job Coach Justin. And anytime I post something, I put that in my hashtag in the content. So again, search engine optimization. Anytime you type in Job Coach Justin, all of the hashtags, all of these stuff that I've posted on LinkedIn is now accessible to you because I put that hashtag on there. Now, is this a course in LinkedIn? No, I have so much more to show you though. So with that, one of the new features in LinkedIn is when you do each of your roles, so director at Career Studio, there is a new section that if I go in and I want to edit my profile, you can go in and it will take all of the skills that you have in this job, and there's a bottom section called skills, and it will list each of the skills that you have done. So not only is it in the content, but then there's also a bottom section that says skills and it lists them out. Again, that will boost your search engine optimization because you have more that listed more than once as you go through your entire profile. So just some quick tips for you there. While we're here in LinkedIn, I want to show you a way to search, to get more out of this. Many of you are feeling, because you're unemployed at this point or looking, you might be seeing that your network feels a little bit smaller. So when you are feeling like your network is smaller, you want to do a few things here in LinkedIn. But I'm seeing a question in the chat. How do you save the text from a job description to the picture or banner? Literally, when you copy all of the job, so thank you for asking, Jim. All you do is you copy and paste. So Control-C to copy when you're in the job description. And then when you go to your picture, all you do is save it as the file name. So when you go to that picture, you're going to rename that file and just cut and paste, Control-X to paste all of that content. Your file name can be 500 pages long if you want it to be. So you do not need to worry about how long that file name is. You just save it, Control-C from the job description, Control-X on renaming the file. And
that's awesome, Justin. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for the question. Okay. Somebody said, say that again, please. That was Joey. And Joey, I don't know what I was supposed to say again, but hopefully we caught that.
He just asked that question. That was exactly what I wanted you to do.
Okay.
Thank you, because people were wanting to know.
All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go to Arizona State University here. All of you who have a college degree or went to a college have access to so many tools from your alumni pages, all of these things. But on LinkedIn, I want you to see just how simple this can be. So I'm going to go to ASU. I didn't go to ASU, but my heart is there. Okay. Love Sparky. And I used to live less than 5 miles from the campus. So I'm going to go to Arizona State University. And right here, you'll notice this alumni tool. Some of you are familiar with this, but I hope I'm going to show you new ways to utilize this. So I want to work as an animator at Pixar Studios. So I'm just going to type in Pixar, and I'm going to do a search here. All right, so it's going through, there are 66 alumni that have some sort of relation to Pixar. And if I scroll down, here they are. And I could go through every single one of them and find where is Pixar in their profile. I'm not going to do that today. You can play with that yourself. But as I look through this, I see Michael Jeffries. I don't see that I can connect with him, but he's a senior software engineer at Pixar Animation Studios. So I'm going to just take a look at his profile. Notice right here, it says there are 3 that actually work at Pixar Animation Studios. I'm going to click on that. Here they are, Michael Jeffries, Alexandra Zalu something, and Jonathan Garson. Jonathan, it allows me to connect, but he doesn't know me. So is he going to connect with me? Probably not, unless I write him a really cool note about how I met him at Career Connectors and he presented and it blew my mind. And then maybe he might connect. But I don't think Jonathan's ever presented at Career Connectors. So we're going to need to find another way. Same here with Michael Jeffries. It doesn't even allow me to connect with him. So I'm going to just take a look here. Here he is. Notice his images, kind of animation-y, kind of cool. So with that, by the way, if you miss one of the links that I'm putting out here today, don't worry about it. I'm sending the whole list to Jessica and the team. They'll send it out in the notes. So everything that I'm talking about today, you'll get the links at the end. Jessica's like, woohoo! Yeah, let's save people time. And instead of note taking, you can just watch and be amazed. All right. So here I see that Michael Jeffries is a third, meaning somebody I know that knows him. Look at this. He lives in Saratoga Springs, Utah. I live in Salt Lake City, Utah. My world is getting closer already. He's a senior software engineer at Pixar. And I can see that he made a post to somebody less than a week ago. He's active on LinkedIn. I also see that he made a post, which means I can read about that. I can see his whole history, but I do not, see so much contact info. I have a GitHub, which might be a way to get to him. And then I have his LinkedIn URL, which he has actually personalized because he took all the numbers and everything off the end. I'd love it if he just put Pixar at the end of it. He'd get much more traffic, but maybe he's not wanting more traffic. Okay. How in the world am I going to get in touch with this guy? I can send him a message, but it's locked. Oh, I have to pay for premium? No, ladies and gentlemen, let me give you a trick that will help you. Instead of doing that and maybe getting him to respond, I want you to use a device called Hunter.io. So here we go, Hunter.io. And under search, I put in Pixar, but I'm actually going to go to the Finder. And back here at LinkedIn, I'm just going to copy his name, Michael Jeffries. I'm going to go to Hunter, and I'm going to put in Michael Jeffries at Pixar Animation Studio. Oh my gosh, that is his direct email at work. Are your minds blown right now? I hope so. Jessica's is, and she may not make it home because the plane will explode. But notice it says 80%. So it's 80% sure that that is his email address, where you could email him directly. Now, notice down here, we found 162 email addresses for Pixar.com. Why would I care? Well, maybe I can look at the naming convention on all 162 of these and realize, wow, Pixar's not that big, because everybody's email is their first name at Pixar.com. Oh my gosh, this is so easy. I am getting so much closer to actually getting in contact with Michael. Do you love this? I love this. Jessica. Jessica's like, I've been doing this work for 15 years, and every once in a while, I learn something new. Hopefully you learn something new today, right? So Hunter.io, super cool. Love that. And I can get closer to Michael Jeffries. I might also start looking at, well, who do I know that knows Michael Jeffries? You can utilize that on LinkedIn. One other thing that I want you to be aware of is that your college or university has alumni tools on their websites, things like that. I'm just going to go to like Maricopa Community College, MCC. And here they're allowing alumni to explore careers. There's tools, tips. I can't even speak. Maybe I should drink. Tools, tips, and tricks. That's what I was trying to say. And they are giving you access to all of that. ASU is doing the same thing. Recent graduates and alumni. Here are career resources for you. On-demand career support, job search and information tools, resume help, interview practice, micro internships, and job market insights. All of these things available. So go to your alma mater and take a look at their university career services. I'll tell you what, we have some amazing services at Brigham Young University where I work at. We have Big Interview, which is an online interview practice platform, which allows you to ask answer entry-level questions, mid, third, and fourth interview type of questions. They have blog posts, all sorts of things. And the great thing is I can record my my interview response, and I can email that to anybody I want in my network to help give me feedback on what they thought about my response in that interview question. We also have another super cool tool called VMock. And what that does is it is an opportunity for me to upload my resume, and then it'll go through and scan it with other like resumes across the country and give me feedback about maybe what's missing or how I can get a better score. Now, you don't have to go to your college and university and ask them if they have VMock. You can pay for that stuff. But generally, through your college or university, you're going to have free access to that as alumni. You do have to ask, and some might say no. And so if they say no, I have an alternative for you. It's called JobScan. JobScan does the same thing. You can take your resume and you can take a job description, and it'll scan the job description and it'll scan your resume and give you suggestions on what you need to do. And I think your first 10 are free. So jobscan.com. Now, moving on from this section, I also want to take you to some other resources. So we've got the LinkedIn headshot, we've got LinkedIn Learning that you can generally get for free. So what if you identify a skill gap? What if you identify something? There are a lot of free resources available to you that you want to take advantage of. So again, we talked about LinkedIn Learning. We talked about perhaps the things that your career advisement center from your alma mater has, but there are some other free resources that are super cool. So I'm going to take you to one that I love. It's part of Goodwill, and it's GCFglobal.org. Okay. What's great about GCF Global? I'm going to just click on topics here. Notice you can do the job search. They have all sorts of things about the job search, but what if you want to learn 3D printing for whatever job it is that you're doing, or Photoshop, or create? They have all things Microsoft Word. And they're all free. They're all free. So thank you, not-for-profits, for making the world a better place for better people. Thank you, Career Connectors. That's what not-for-profits are about, is filling in gaps where government or other entities, industry, are not providing services. So this is another one, gcfglobal.org. Go learn until your brain explodes. You've all probably heard of Khan Academy. Again, all free resources for you to be able to use to help you upskill while you're waiting for your next gig to come along. In other words, I don't want you sitting at home worrying. Most of what happens when you are in the job search psychologically is you're spending 90% of your time worrying and maybe 5 to 10% of your time actually doing these skills. What I want you to do is spend 90% of your time creating, playing, enjoying all of these different technology tools, and spend maybe 5 to 10%. Set a timer, give yourself 15 minutes to cry your eyes out every morning and move on. Be a creator. There are so many awesome things for you to play with and to explore. Okay, so enough of GCF Global. I am moving off of that. Hunter.io, again, free. You love that. You can actually search by company. You can search by domain name. You can go into their Finder and search exactly by a person's first name, last name, and what company they are. Does it work 100% of the time? No, but that doesn't matter. You've got all sorts of tools at your disposal. Okay. I love also, I'm going to move here. This is the site for the headshot. Sorry, I'm just going through my tabs and I've got this one. Oh, do you not hate it so much? Like you want to bang your head against the wall anytime you go to apply for a job and you have to refill all of that information, this Simplify is the tool for you. Literally, you add it to your Chrome toolbar and you click on this add to Chrome tool. It in one place allows you to fill. It's the most comprehensive one that I have found. So you go through, you put it in here one time, and then anytime you go to a website, you just go up to your toolbar and you hit in Simplify, and it fills it all in for you. Now, some people are crying right now for joy, and I am so happy to bring joy into your life today, because this is probably the most eye-gouging, chalkboard screeching bane of our existence when we are in job search, is trying to fill all of that stuff out. That will wear you out enough that you'll be like, send me back into COVID. It's better than this. So I want you to feel like I can get this done quickly. That's what tools are for. This is the snowblower of filling out applications. Okay. Jerry, Bettina, you said, what if I have two different roles? Can Simplify do two? Yes, and the way you do that is you probably create different, because it's up to you, you can create two different. It's also easy if you go into an incognito window. That kind of releases you from all the stuff that you put in before, and just utilize incognito to do that. Great question, thank you. Okay, so want you to know about that one. I'm going to close this so that I don't have to keep messing things up. Was there another question in the chat that I missed? No, it's just people laughing. I'm glad you're happy. Some people say I'm too happy, but it's fine. It's all natural. Okay, so moving on with Simplify. I also know that it's April 6th, Thursday, April 6th. Happy Holy Week to those of you who care. But with that, your rent is due. Your rent is due and you are freaking out. I don't want you to freak out. I want to give you some tools that it's tech, it's easy, and it's disruptors. And if you haven't heard of these disruptors, you're going to want to know about them, because starting out with my number one favorite right here, and I know they're in Phoenix and I know they're in 16 other places across the country, I want you to know about Bacon Work. Notice the title here, Work on Demand. In other words, you choose when you work. Now, this is a stopgap measure for many people, and it helps you pay your rent without donating blood. I work at a university. There's a blood bank literally steps off of our campus. I know what students do to earn money. I don't know what you do to earn money, but I would love it if you don't have to give blood. Oh, Siri's talking to me. Don't talk to me, Siri. Okay. So Bacon Work is, they post the shifts and you work as an independent contractor. So you go into their site, you sign up, you build a profile, you talk about the work experience you've had. These are not high-level skilled jobs. This could be working in an event or a banquet. This could be an usher job. This could be a warehouse job. What these are stopgaps to get you paid so that you can pay your rent and you can focus on all these other fun toys that I'm telling you about today. But there's a number of them. So the beautiful part about Bacon, if you download the app, there's a training video. It's fun, it's short. It says, this is how we work. You sign up for a role. We'll list, here are all the companies that are looking for employees in your area. They're looking for somebody to work this day, this time, and we will pay you $116 for that shift. You say, I want that shift. They accept you, you go to work, and you get paid 72 hours later. Electronically. Boom. Here comes your rent money. So no more fretting in your house, wondering how you're going to do this. Yes, you're going to suck it up and go work in a warehouse for a day. And some of you are going to find out that you absolutely love it. And some people have found that this platform is their side hustle. They do it all the time and have transitioned out of the workforce and into doing this, doing their side gig now full time, and then doing this on the side to make the ends meet. However you like it, you do what you want. Another company that does the same thing, Wonolo, theirs is mostly warehouse work. Another company that does the same thing, Pronto, Instawork, Quick, Variable, all of them are this same disruptor kind of thing. So think of yellow cabs and taxis, and then think of Uber and Lyft. This is the Uber and Lyft of the workforce. So enjoy it. Have fun with that. Wow, so many more comments, questions. Am I missing? What if you, okay, we got that one. What if transitioning from one career path to another, from like education to tech? Okay, so Belinda Flores, what an excellent question. Anytime you are in transition, you've got to focus on your transferable skills. What skill sets do you have that are going to work in any setting? And so if you are literally going from one career path to another, I'm going to show you a little trick here a little bit later. So I'm going to just say, if transitioning, I'm copying your question. Okay. So, and Amy Jo is saying, this is a great question. So we've got a couple of people here. And then Tran Lai, you say, can you work on demand and still receive unemployment? So it's actual work. And when you're receiving unemployment, you have to look or say that you're looking, but this is one shift on one day. It's not long-term. You pick one shift, you work for that company for one day. You might work for that company for 3 days, but you definitely want to check that in with your case manager, et cetera, with unemployment, because it's not a long-term contract. It's not a full-time job. So it doesn't impact, I know in Utah, it does not impact that, but it's different state to state, and you're going to need to check that with your unemployment office. And boy, is that a trick, because there's no way to actually reach them. You'll probably have to email them. Maybe you can take it to Hunter.io and find their direct email. That would be awesome. Okay. You would definitely have to report that you got paid, for sure. So with that, again, those are Bacon Work, Winolo, Pronto, Quick, InstaWork, Variable. You don't have to memorize it. I'll send it to them at the end. Good grief, my time is so short. I told you I have a million things to share with you today. All right. Another one that might be helpful for your job search tools, if you haven't heard of Austin Belchak, he is really great at offering free services. Here is the 4 free offers that he has for you. A resume builder. He also has, similar to Hunter.io, his is Mailscoop.io, which you can do the same thing. You can type in somebody's name and find their email. He also has, ResuMatch, which is a resume scanner, and will tell you whether or not your resume matches the job description that was posted. And then he has the Resi Bullet, where he'll analyze the bullet statements on your resume and give you feedback on those. So again, another free resource that you didn't even know existed. Khan Academy, we already talked about. This is just me coming to Career Connectors. Let me get over to my favorite. I know that there might be some vets on the call. I just wanted to show you that there are lots of resources for vet jobs that you may not be looking at as far as online. And then now that you have Simplify, you'll be able to apply to those roles. But LinkedIn has a section for that. Facebook has a section. Hiring Heroes, there's all sorts. So if you're a vet, I want you to check this Hiring America link out, and I will send that over as well. Super, super helpful. Okay. Next, we're coming to my granddaddy favorite, ChatGPT. So when you go to ChatGPT, this is an AI format. It is a computer generating all sorts of information. And I know that you've tried to use it and you're not really sure. So this is where we're going to go from snow shovel to snowblower. Here we have the website is openai.com. openai.com. You can go there now if you want to. It'll say try ChatGPT. I just wanted you to see what that looks like. Okay, so here's what I've done. I think that there were a couple of people who got on earlier that said that they were interested in a few things. I'm going to get to that, but I want to show you what I've done with the animator. So the animation job, I want to open that up and do some edits. And notice the freelance, I just cut and pasted that animation job posting into ChatGPT. So here it is. And then what I did is I copied and pasted somebody's LinkedIn profile who's an animator. So I took the job description and I took somebody's resume, meaning you can do this with your resume. And then I said what I want to happen. So all I did was type those in and I just hit enter, and ChatGPT came back with, hey, it seems like you've got a diverse. It's just assimilating all of that information together. Once I did that, I said, amend and combine this content to apply for this job description. And suddenly it put all of this information together, all of my or this person's background with the job description. Notice all of these bullet points that are coming out. Then I said, okay, what about DreamWorks is offering a position, and what if I wanted to write a job description for this? So then it wrote a job description for me. Then I said, combine the previous test, I didn't even write it correctly, the previous text and generate a resume. Notice I didn't spell generate right, a resume for this position. And here come a slew of bullet points. All right. Now, wait, that's not good enough. It's still not good enough. Then I said, what would you say that I do here? And suddenly, now it's giving me even more refined information about this is what an animator does. This is how you work with a team. What do I need to have in order to do this job is another question I wrote. It says you need to have all of these. Then I said, what can I offer? And it went through my skill set, not mine, because I stole it from somebody's LinkedIn. Understanding of rigging, you've got drawing skills, you've got animation skills, you've got storyboarding skills. I said, so what if I wanted a resume for this? Here, notice it's got an objective. That's so 80s. Don't ever put an objective. But this is a tool. Use the tool correctly. Don't just cut and paste this and make it your resume. That's not smart. Use it to kickstart your brain into ways of thinking about how to do your resume. Forget an objective. Nobody does those. Qualifications. It's merging my qualifications, or the person I stole from LinkedIn, with the job description. And then what you do is you think through that. You're the human, you're the brain. You add your years of experience or specifics that are going to make sense, but it's just a tool to get your brain in action. If you're struggling trying to write a bullet point, then let this help you, but don't just take it for what it's worth. Actually read through it and then massage it. So then I said, all right, well, turn all of these skills into bullet statements for me. So here are 10 key bullets you could use for a resume for this job. Again, they're kind of generic. It's simple AI, but I know that some of you are right now just saying, wow, English isn't my first language. This is going to be so helpful. Or you're going to say, I didn't go to college and I'm not great at writing. I don't feel great about writing. Or you're like me, you went to college. I just graduated with my master's in December and I still don't feel great about writing, but I feel great about these prompts that I get when I'm utilizing ChatGPT. So then I said, all right, amend all these things that have just been talked about and write a 3-paragraph cover letter for me. In 30 seconds, it wrote these 3 paragraphs. And I'm like, nope, too long. Include 2 bullet statements on the cover letter. Notice I'm not even spelling correctly and it's still figuring out. The specific 2 key skills to highlight for this type of work. As an animator, here are 2 key skills, creativity and all the things about it. Here is the technical proficiency that you're going to need and everything about it. Joey's mind, her eyes are like falling out of her head right now. I love that I can see her. I can't see all of you, but thank you, Joey, for that response. Here we go. Belinda, you asked me a question. So I'm going to do a new chat in ChatGPT, and I'm pasting, not Michael Jeffries, I'm going to paste your question into ChatGPT. Please work. Okay, I'm gonna write it. Here we go. What if I'm and I don't have to spell well, into a new role from education to tech? It's like you have your own little friend. Belinda, you're going to read this and you're going to, I already know that. I already know that. I already know that. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, what about this one? Do you see how quickly this is coming? This is like when Google came out and people are like, what's Google? What am I going to do with that? I'm telling you that Bard, Bing, ChatGPT, these are the future of what Google used to be. Notice this. Remember, transitioning to a new industry takes time and effort, but with the right mindset and approach, you can successfully make the switch to a career in tech. It's even giving you the feels there, Belinda, like here's a little pat on the shoulder. You can do it. It's crazy. Okay, so I did this for a couple of other people as well. Let me go to those. I did this for, hey, are there some potential roles in change management in Cleveland, Ohio? So thank you for joining us from Cleveland, Ohio on this today. But here are 5 different titles for change management. And this is a few of the potential roles. If I wanted to, then I could ask ChatGPT to say, narrow it down to change management trainer. I want a change management trainer. What are the things I need to know for Cleveland, Ohio? And it will do that. It's like having your own little friend. You guys, I'm over my time. This is crazy, but I hope that through some of these small and simple tech tools that you have learned new ways to utilize that shovel and turn it into a snowblower. Thank you so much for my time today. I'm happy to answer questions, but I know that we have another fabulous speaker coming up in just a few minutes. And gosh, I'm going to take a big drink. I'm going to take a big breath, and I'm going to hope that I get invited back to Career Connectors maybe sometime in the future.
Justin, you're amazing. How many people are just overwhelmed by the amount of information and energy that he just brought to this online webinar? Justin, truly, congrats on your master's. That's wonderful. Delighted that you got that, but not surprised. And all of the variety of tools, everyone, that we learned about today. Again, Justin will be sending that to us and we'll be sharing that with all of you. So don't worry, you'll have access to it. So if you weren't frantically writing it all down, it's okay. You didn't have to. I am going to ask you to take a big pause. I want you to stretch and move and jiggle around a little bit just to get your energy up. I am going to ask you, Jessica, if you will drop your LinkedIn into the chat. If you have not done so, I'm going to ask you to copy your LinkedIn URL, and I want you to share it with people in the chat. Let's connect with each other. Like Justin said, the more we can connect with each other and the more that we can just network and help learn from each other, let's do that. So without further ado, and remember, after Amanda, the breakout rooms are coming up, so stay tuned. But I am going to introduce Amanda Miller. She has been writing resumes and supporting job seekers for nearly 30 years. She's partnered with the owner of Blue Signal, a world-class search firm, to create and launch Resume and Career Services as its candidate experience manager. When she is not helping candidates move into their next position, she's an avid reader, she's a fitness buff, and a hiker. I'm going to save this one for last because I think it's so interesting, but she also has been serving with Career Connectors as a career coach, a LinkedIn coach, and a speaker with Career Connectors for over 10 years. She's a gift to everyone who knows her. She's direct and she deeply cares for those that she knows. So if you'll help me welcome Amanda Miller, who doubles as Wonder Woman. Amanda?
Thank you so much. Yes, I know Jessica when it first started. I remember back then, and gosh, it seems like it was yesterday. I want to preface my presentation by saying, wow, Justin shared some amazing stuff. I have been doing this for almost 30 years, but things change and we can always learn new things. And every time I go to things, I've done Austin Belcheck's things, I always learn something new. So hopefully you will learn something new from me today. I will tell you that this is going to be a whirlwind, down and dirty presentation. And don't worry about taking notes because this is of course all recorded, so you will be able to access it in the future, but I will be in the breakout session at the end as well. So I'll be able to review your resume or answer any questions that you have. So let's get started. Next slide, please. So it's a little bit about us. As you were told, I do work for Resume and Career Services. I've been doing this a really long time. Doesn't mean I'm the expert, but I am an expert. And so I do love what I do. Next slide. Okay, so this is what we're going to talk about in our brief 15-ish minutes together. We're going to go through 6 different components for you to really get your career search going in the right direction so that you can have some serious results. Next slide. Okay, so career search, go ahead. Okay, the first thing you want to do is determine what you want to do. For some people, that can be challenging, to be quite honest. You scooted ahead. So sometimes that can be really challenging. And as a resume writer, one of the first questions I always ask is, what position are you looking for right now? And a lot of people have no idea. They think that we can just throw down a resume. And, you know, in the 80s, 90s, it was possible to just have a resume that had everything that you've done. You'd share it with people and they would say, oh my gosh, Joe, you're amazing. I want to talk to you and I have a great position for you. It doesn't work that way anymore. We have on average, 200 applications are received for every position. So you're also dealing with a multitude of people applying. And as we potentially head into a recession, there are going to be more people applying. But then you have to deal with the bots, the ATS, applicant tracking software, and people. So you need to match yourself to the position. If you don't know what you want to do, I encourage you to start with that. Look at what your transferable skills are. Research on the internet, on LinkedIn. There are tons of tools, as Justin just showed you, tons of tools for all this research. So start to look at that. Do you want to work in person, remotely, hybrid? Tons of choices. Next slide, please. So to prepare for your search, you want to make sure that you are tracking everything. You know, if you are applying willy-nilly to positions, that's one way to do it, kind of a shotgun approach. But what if someone calls you and says, hey, Sue, I see that you've applied for this position. I'd love to talk to you about it. Well, if you can't immediately get to that position and know what they're talking about, you're not going to be as well prepared. So just create an Excel spreadsheet or whatever works for you and track things that you're doing. Start to make those connections on LinkedIn or in person with recruiters, with employers. It is still about who you know as well as what you know. So knowing people through an event like like where we are now at Career Connectors, going to LinkedIn, going even to Facebook to your connections, building those connections and relationships with people. Start to choose your references. You will be asked for them at some point. So make sure that you have them ready and that people know what you want them to say. That's really important too. And then really just be focused on your goal. I loved one of the things that Justin said was set an alarm, cry for 15 minutes a day, and then get on with it, right? You've got to stay focused. You will face rejection. It is part of the process, and it's not about you. It's about the system. So, you know, it hurt. I get it. Move on. Next slide. Okay, now we're going to talk about your resume. You have to get it to pass through bots and employers. Next slide, please. So first off, you need to decide, do you need a resume or a CV? A CV is a curriculum vitae. I doubt that many of you would need one. CVs are typically reserved for people in academia or the medical field, or attorneys potentially. They're usually much longer. They go back to the beginning of your career. They list your publications and all that stuff. Most of you will need a resume. Your resume should be about 1 to 2 pages and cover in depth the last 10 to 15 years with a little bit about what happened before that, if that's the case. you do need to make sure that it works for both people and the ATS systems. And for that, although you can pick different formats, there are 3 that are listed there. For ATS, it really is looking for a reverse chronological, meaning I did this, before that I did this. It's the way it parses the resume. So you need to make sure that it is prepared for that. In order to do that also, you need to make sure that your resume doesn't have certain elements. So sometimes you'll see a resume that's just outdated. It has an objective, it's all bullets, it doesn't have any accomplishments. That will still parse into a system. It may not be as effective as a marketing-based resume, but it'll still be picked up. But one of the things that the ATS systems can't read, for instance, is headers and footers. If your name is in a header on the first page, you don't know who sent the resume because it doesn't read it. If you have pertinent information in text boxes or columns or graphs or charts, those are things that most ATS systems cannot read. So make sure that you have a very simple, it doesn't have to be ugly, it can look nice, but a simple approach to your resume. Next slide. So some of the things that you'll want to make sure that you have on your resume, and it may seem like, well, duh, of course I have these things, but I can't tell you how many times I haven't seen contact information on a resume, a name, but no way to contact them, a phone number, but no email. So a lot of people just don't have that stuff. Make sure it's on the first page at the top, not in a header. You need to have a title or a headline to your resume. This is where it would have been an objective 25 years ago, but now we use a title. It's a position that you're seeking, not the position that you have now, but the position that you're going toward. A summary or branding statement that says, why should someone hire you? So what do you have to share about that? You need your areas of expertise. This is just a fancy word or term for keywords. You have to have keywords on your resume for an ATS system to find it. So you need to make sure those are there. Your job descriptions for each position, and then your accomplishments. And then, of course, education, certifications, training, all of that kind of stuff. But these are the big things that a lot of people miss. Next slide. So if you're looking at accomplishments and you have kind of a skill-based resume, which I review resumes all the time, every day, and most of the resumes I see have the position and then bullets of did this, did that, did this, responsible for, all that kind of stuff. You don't want that. You want a brief paragraph of what you do or did in that role, and then you want it to follow with accomplishments. This is a very simple formula for developing those accomplishments. You had a challenge, something went wrong. You took an action to turn that thing that was bad into a positive, and then you had a result out of that. When you put them on the resume, the challenge isn't usually included. You're going to have the result plus the action. So sales is a very simple way to think about this. The challenge is sales were down. The action is you implemented a new training program for the team. The result is sales increased 25% within 6 months. On your resume, you would say increased sales 25% in 6 months following implementation of new training program. You'll usually find that accomplishments fall in one of 4 areas. You made the company money. It could be clients if it's your own company. It could be vendors. It could be any stakeholder, really. You saved them money. You made people happy, again, any stakeholder, or you created or improved processes and systems, which resulted in increased productivity. In my many years of doing this, I've very rarely found things outside of that. Sometimes you'll have an award and you might think of that as accomplishment, which is great, but an award usually came out of you did something. So you got an award because you made people happy, you increased productivity. So make sure you include that as well. Next slide. Okay, now, so let's talk about LinkedIn. We did get a little overview previously about LinkedIn. I'm going to talk about it in a slightly different way. So scoot through that. Okay, so when you have your profile, you want to make sure, as Justin discussed, that you have some compelling images. He gave you some ideas on how to build those images. A nice shot of you. People want to see who you are. Do not put your picture on your resume because some people cannot even review your resume if they see your picture, but do absolutely put it on your LinkedIn profile. Make sure that you have a nice background image. It could be something that says who you are and supports your personal brand, Or it could be something that you really like. I've seen somebody, I just did a resume for someone who's an astral photographer. He had a picture of one of his pictures from space. It was great. You want to make sure that you have a great headline. You want to use those keywords that people are going to be looking for, because no one is looking on LinkedIn for you. They're looking for someone who has what you offer. FYI, keywords. So you want to think about that. It should complement your resume. If it's not exactly the same, that's okay, but it should definitely feel like they're similar. So when someone looks at your resume and someone looks at your LinkedIn, they want to feel like they're the same person. You can also use LinkedIn as a portfolio. You can upload examples of your work. You can upload videos and websites. If you are a creative person or you've been in the media, those are excellent ways to showcase some value on LinkedIn. And then open to work. I have that there because a lot of people will ask, should I say that I'm open to work? There are two ways that you can be open to work on LinkedIn. One is open and everybody can see it, and you'll get that little green banner around your name. The other is open and only recruiters can see it. If you are currently employed and you don't want to screw up your job, do not put it on so everybody can see it. However, you want to think about, even if you are unemployed and looking, do you want to have it on? Recruiters pay for access to see behind the scenes so they can tell if you are looking for a job. And even if you don't say you are, like I found the job that I have now because they found me on LinkedIn and I didn't have open to work on there. And so they just found me, saw that I had the skills. They reached out and said, would you like to talk about this position? That happens all the time. You don't have to have the open to work on there. So just make sure that if you do have it turned on, it's not going to hurt anything. And you're not kind of saying that you're desperate for a job. You're just like, hey, by the way, I'm open and I'm looking. Next slide. So you want to use LinkedIn as the major tool that it is. That is the biggest tool I'm going to talk about, but you heard some ideas from Justin on how to use that. You can research everything. Use that in combination with the tools he provided. And oh my goodness, this is going to make your job search so much easier because jobs are not always posted. You want to find those companies that you might want to work with and reach out to them. What industries are you interested in? Build your network of people who can help you. Just like Justin, I am a LinkedIn open networker. I'll connect with anybody. So I'd be happy to connect you with people. I have, I don't know, 11,000 or something connections. And if I can make a connection for you, I'm happy to do it. So you want to build your network with those people. Of course, apply for jobs. Look for jobs on there. You may want to pay for LinkedIn. So I will tell you that there is a way to get a month for free. You go in as if you're going to pay, and then you back out of it. And usually they say, hey, try it for a month. Try it, see if it works for you. It's month to month. It's about $30 to $40 for the version that you would probably need. So it's not terribly expensive, but it gives you a lot more search capacity so that you can do a lot more on LinkedIn. Okay, next slide. So now we're going to talk about networking. That's what you're doing this morning or afternoon, depending on where you are. But there's a lot more networking you can do. Next slide. Lots of places to network, in person or online. Career Connectors is one of the top places I tell everybody to go to because it is an amazing resource for you. But there are lots of other places like chambers of commerce. Everywhere people live, there are chambers of commerce for the city or the region. There are referral and leads groups. You may have heard of BNI or LATIP. Those are pretty standard ones. Job fairs are a great place to meet other people, to meet recruiters, to meet employers. The alumni network, Justin talked about that a little bit. Reach out to your alumni, leverage them. If you are in a professional association or perhaps want to be, they have great events that you can attend, and also conferences and trade shows that are associated either with associations or chambers, or in Arizona, we have the Arizona Small Business Association. They have conferences and trade shows all the time. So there is a wealth of opportunities available for you for networking. Next slide. Before you head out the door to network, for some people, I'm guessing Justin is in this case as I am, we're kind of extroverts, right? We can go up and talk to anybody. Hi, how are you? I'm Amanda, nice to meet you. I don't have a problem with that, but some people do have a challenge with how do I even get to a networking event? What do I need to say when I'm there? Take a networking buddy if that makes you easier. I have often gone with people who are less extroverted than I am, and helped them meet those people. They're a great resource to have, but you want to make sure you're choosing the right group. Do you want, an association? Do you want a morning event? Do you want a lunch event where you're sitting down over a meal? Is that easier for you? Do you prefer happy hours? You want to make sure you're in the right mindset. There are times where I'm heading out to network and I'm like, I'm just not in it today. I'm not going to go because it doesn't make sense for me to go and be mopey in the corner and waste my time. I also want to have a goal for that event. Maybe it's just to have great conversations with 3 people. That's an excellent goal. You don't want to meet everybody in the room. You want to start to develop relationships. And once you meet people, the second question they're going to ask after what's your name is, what do? You need a great response to that. What I usually tell job seekers, I'll give you my quick insight, is to say, I am currently looking for a position as, fill in the blank, and I am targeting this company or this industry. It gives people a very simple way to relate to you, as opposed to, I'm looking for a job, I'm currently unemployed. They don't know how to relate to you then. But if you're very specific, it makes a lot more sense. And then, of course, know how to get out of the conversation if it's not going the direction you want to do, gracefully. And by all means, follow up after the event. So many people go to events, have great connections, and then forget to follow up, and then it just falls by the wayside. Next slide. Okay, well, let's talk about the interview because that's super important. Next slide. Okay, prepare for your interview. I have said prepare in many different ways here. It is always best to be prepared. You need to research the company, the position, the people you'll be meeting with. Get your portfolio ready. Dress like you're going to an interview. Even if it's on screen, which many interviews are these days, make sure that you are dressed. Even if you're on the phone, looking the part makes your mindset fit with the part. So always dress for the interview. If you're doing it on a video or on the phone, make sure you have a quiet place, you have a nice backdrop, test your technology ahead of time, and practice those questions that you might ask and be asked, which is on the next slide. So questions you'll be asked, here's a slew, you can kind of look at them. I'm not saying that you'll always be asked these questions, but these are the things that you'll want to think about. Especially tell me about yourself. Too many people get stuck on this one and they start talking about social things. They talk about their family. They talk about their illnesses. They talk about being laid off. That's not what you want to talk about. You always need to be positive and working toward the future. Next slide. Some things that you'll want to ask because you should be an active participant. You want to work for a place that you feel comfortable at, right? Not that just they want you. So why is this position vacant? Oh, we fired the last guy because he couldn't perform in 6 months. Red flag. You probably don't want to work there, right? If they're firing people after they couldn't perform, think about it. How are they going to measure success? Do they even have a plan? And talk about the leader that you're dealing with. What is their leadership style? Would you like working there? Are they a micromanager? Are they hands off? What's the onboarding process like? So all of these things will help you make a really great decision. Next slide. In order to get the offer, you have to always be closing. ABC, always be closing. So at every interview, you always want to answer any objections that they have. Well, we see that you don't have this. Yes, but I have this, or I'm willing to learn. Close all the time. Every interview, every person. What are the next steps? I look forward to working with you. And then follow up. Again, follow up is key. Write a nice letter. Send an email. Do all the things that you would normally do to develop that relationship. Always work to negotiate. Most employers expect you to negotiate, to not just say, oh yeah, I'll take that. I'd really like to talk about this. Can we have a conversation about what the options are? And by all means, stay enthusiastic. Every person wants to hire someone who's happy and excited and interested in their company. They don't want to hire the person who's mopey. Next slide. So my time, I kind of did it right in there. This is how you can reach me. I am all over the place. This is, well, not me personally, but Hello comes to me. Hello at Resume and Career Services comes to me. As I mentioned, I will be in the breakout session and I will be happy to talk with you there. And I will drop my LinkedIn in the chat so you guys can connect with me there. And thank you.
Great. Thank you, Amanda. Great. What a wonderful, so much rich content. Again, I love that she said, you don't have to write it all down. We'll be sending it all to you. A couple of things that really stood out. I love the ABC. We should always be closing, whether we're interacting on LinkedIn, whether we're in an interview, and follow up. Fascinating to me as we're at our hiring events, the number of companies that tell me, they say, Joey, you know what, I talk to so many good candidates when I'm out, but the thing that differentiates people is, do they follow up? Do they send me an email? Do they make a phone call? And just so I want to encourage all of you out there, as you are searching, transitioning, please do follow up. That's huge for companies, and they do notice in that personal touch. Okay. We are going to move on. We're almost ready to go into our breakout rooms. A couple of things. If you have feedback for us, we would love it. The way that we get better is as you tell us what you're loving, what you feel like would be more helpful. Email us at contact@careerconnectors.org. The next slide is going to show you that we have a free DISC assessment available for you. This is you can print out like a 25-page assessment talking about your work characteristics, what your tendencies are, what you're good at, how you work, what environment is best for you. It's wonderfully insightful. So want to invite you to take advantage of that. That's free. And then again, as I mentioned earlier, we do record all of our webinars. So please do access that. Here's one of the biggest things that as you're in a job search and as you hear other people in job search, please share Career Connectors with us. As you heard today, our speakers are going to bring you hope. We have all kinds of resources on our website, and we really want to walk this journey with you. And then with our hiring events, we're doing hiring events that we have anywhere from 25 to 50 hiring companies. So we'd love to see you at those events. So we couldn't do all of this without a special thanks to our corporate partners. Bree, if you want to jump to the next slide. The Entrepreneur Source, Achieve, APS, Best Companies AZ, which you'll be able to meet in the breakout rooms, and the Resume Writers of Arizona. That group has been stellar in being resume coaches for us. Okay, next slide, please. One of our big partners, Best Companies AZ, we love working with them. Denise and her team have done so much to help so many companies, not just in Arizona, but all over, win designations of best places to work. So I do want to invite you to go visit her in the breakout room because these companies are so focused on culture and different the whole employee experience. They're phenomenal at it. So upcoming events that we have, we want to invite you to step into the next event, keep walking this journey with us. Let us be some support and some hope, driving your career forward. This is Stephanie Clerget. She is going to have, if you register for that event, there will be a separate assessment that we'll have you do. And she'll go through it with you. Very informal, great content talking about career strategy and really using who you are to match with your next role. The Avondale Career Expo is coming up on May 10th. We are going to have a photographer at that event. So if you want to get a professional portrait done, completely free. So please come to that event, and there will be lots of employers and community colleges and ways to upskill. And lastly, on May 18th, at least on this slide, one of our Arizona Careers Now events, it's a manufacturing hiring event. Again, all kinds of manufacturing roles, anything to do with manufacturing, not just line worker, anything from entry level up to executive. So with AZ Careers Now, this is a great partnership that we have with the Greater Phoenix Chamber. We're doing lots of hiring events with them, as well as all of the other events that we're doing. And please always do go to careerconnectors.org, which is our website, which is the next slide. If you want to have all kinds of resources, and special thank you to all of our volunteers. Sorry, Marie, I've jumped ahead. to our volunteers. We just couldn't do this without you. And if you are interested in volunteering for Career Connectors, whether it's like, hey, you want to work on our, you have some thoughts on the website, or you want to serve at one of our in-person events or our online, we'd love to have you. We have about 100 people that we work with regularly. But the need is big, and the amount of people out there looking for roles, it's a great place to serve while you're not working, if that is helpful. So I think we are just about ready to go into, last slide was donate. If you are interested in donating, we had Arizona Gives Day on Tuesday. If you like to donate to nonprofits, we are a nonprofit, and so we always appreciate any donations. But we're just glad you're here, and there's absolutely no cost for our job seekers. And that's why we do collect donations, because we want it to be free for our job seekers. So moving into our breakouts, Bree, take it away.
Alrighty, so we are going into the breakout rooms now. So what you're going to see here in just a few seconds, if you hover over your toolbar, your Zoom toolbar, you'll see a breakout room area. You'll click on it and it'll show you the entire list of the breakout rooms. So we have several on the next slide, which I'll put up right now, that you can choose from. So you're going to hover over which room you want to join. You'll move your mouse to the right, click join, and it'll take you to that breakout room. You can always come back to the main Zoom session as well, the same way you went into a breakout room. If anyone needs any help moving into a breakout room, just let us know. Feel free to put it in the chat and we can manually put you in there. So I just opened all the rooms, so you'll be able to see it soon. And if anyone has any questions, again, feel free to put it in the chat. Thank you.
And know that Jessica will be back next time. She's traveling and her Wi-Fi was just on and off, and she was just worried about it cutting out. So she is online with us and has been, and will be back next time.